Hello and welcome to This One Thing, a daily video devotional coming to you from First Presbyterian Church of Fort Lauderdale. And together we'll be looking at one text and choosing one thing for you to consider. And we hope that you find this a thought-provoking, encouraging part of your day. Death by paper cuts. I heard a former pastor, Rob Bell, once give a talk about dealing with criticism when leading any organization. And he was saying that more often than receiving big, brazen, bold, in-your-face criticism, more often we'll receive little comments, small remarks, backhanded remarks. He called them death by paper cuts. Perhaps you've experienced those wincing remarks that stick with you, that roll around your head at the end of the day. What do we do with that as leaders, as people? How do we respond? I was talking the other day with a good friend about the school system here in Broward County and the decisions being made, whether to open or not to open schools for in-person learning. And the considerations are many. There are practical considerations, right, for parents. There are concerns regarding health of students, health of teachers and staff. There are concerns for the community, right? Economic concerns. This has a number of different impacts, and I don't envy the decisions that these leaders have had to make. And that these leaders are hearing criticism from both sides. As a church, we've been wrestling with some of these same concerns and how to best proceed, but on a much smaller scale. And I joked with a colleague sarcastically the other day, thank goodness they offered that course in pandemic management in seminary. So many of our leaders in organizations all over the country are navigating a sea amidst so many different voices and differing perspectives, perhaps confronted with death by paper cuts. And I believe our scripture today is at least helpful, if not instructive. This passage comes from the 7th chapter of John, and in it Jesus' brothers are preparing to travel to Jerusalem for the Sukkot, or the Festival of Booths. It was one of the 3 major festivals of the Jewish year, commemorating the time that Jewish people spent out in the wilderness, living in tents. And according to Jewish law, it was a requirement for native-born, those that were native-born in Israel to go to Jerusalem. Jesus' brothers are saying that Jesus needs to go so that others would see the great works he was doing, that he needs to go to Jerusalem. And Jesus says, it's not my time yet. It's not my time. And we read that the brothers go on ahead, and that then Jesus later follows in secret. And we read what Jesus would have heard the crowds saying. It says that the Jews were looking for Jesus at the festival. Where is he? They said. And there was considerable complaining about him among the crowds. While some were saying he is a good man, others were saying, no, he is deceiving the crowd. There was considerable complaining about him. One of the pieces that I have been wrestling with, or better yet, reminded of lately, is the humanity of Jesus. We what must that have been like to have people talk about you like this? There was considerable complaining. He's deceiving the crowd. I think that we sometimes construct a superhero Jesus that is unbothered by this sort of thing. I'm not buying it. Unbothered when the 12 don't understand what he's teaching, when the crowds don't understand, unbothered when his closest friends turn their backs, unbothered when they pass judgment, unbothered when the crowds yell, crucify him. And yet he navigates the sea of many voices and differing perspectives, bending always towards the will of God. And so here's the one thing, the reality is that some will say you are good and some will complain about you. Some will say you are deceiving the crowd. But the question is, are you able through it all to bend towards the will of the Father? Friends, be safe, be well. We'll see you tomorrow.